Latanya Alcoholic. The format for this meeting is a 10-minute speaker, our secretary's announcements, a coffee and snack break, and our main speaker. Our first speaker for tonight is Mary.
All right, Mary.
Hi, I'm Mary. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Mary.
Hello. Wow, it's good to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you both. And love you, Janice. Oh my God, you guys are in for a treat. My name is Mary and I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Mary.
My sobriety date is October 26th, 1998. I will be 27 if I survive myself in 3 weeks from tomorrow. So I owe my life to Alcoholics Anonymous and to the steps in the Big Book and 12 and 12 and to sponsorship and being sponsored, and sponsoring. And I am so grateful for Alcoholics Anonymous. When I got here, I was unemployable. I came here, I was 30 years old. I came in dragging my 4 kids. They were 5, 7, 9, and 11. Mike's good to see you. I know Mike from a morning meeting I used to go to, Burton Chase Park in the marina. They do the step study and a big book study. It's a great meeting. And I went there and early sobriety, and I go there. Like if my work schedule was different, I'd go there again because it's a great meeting. I like big book studies. If you're new, I encourage you to go to big book studies and step studies and speaker meetings and participation meetings and have a sobriety date. I have a sobriety date and I have a sponsor, and I sponsor people and I'm of service and I take commitments, and I say yes. And so those have been the keys for me staying sober. And I go to a lot of meetings, and I also now do Al-Anon, so I'm in the graduate program. I'm getting my doctorate in life. Yeah. So I came in, my kids were 5, 7, 9, 11, and my kid's dad was a cocaine dealer. I married him when I was 17 years old. You know, when I got sober, I was, 2 years sober, and he left me when I was 2 years sober. And so my kids were 8, 9, 11, and 13 at the time, and they all went crazy at the same time. So my sobriety in the beginning was really gnarly. And it always has been. But the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and working them, because I'm powerless over drugs and alcohol and people, places, and things, and my children, and when I try to control them, my life becomes unmanageable, And then I get restored to, I came to believe that a power greater than me can restore me to sanity, and I turn them over. I turn them over, I turn my mind over, because I have alcoholism, not alcoholism, and it's a mind power disease. It says it on page 23, alcoholism. It centers in the mind on page 23 on the top of the page. And so I'm glad I know that, because for me, alcoholism, I obsess, on awakening. So on awakening, I have this routine that I do, and I start with breath work, and then I meditate, and I pray. And then I get connected to God. And throughout my day, I pause when agitated, and I ask God for the right thought or action. And I'm glad that I've had smart feet, and I've I've gotten in the middle of Alcoholics Anonymous. I didn't come here to win friends or influence people. I came here because I didn't want to put the gas on and go to sleep with my 4 kids. Because in this program and in that book, there is a solution to treat my mind. And I'm just really grateful that I stick around one day at a time, and it's a daily reprieve. I'm not, tomorrow's not guaranteed, I know someone who went out after 30-something years, you know what I mean? So, today, I'm going to probably hit my pillow sober, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the steps that I've taken in Alcoholics Anonymous. Thinking about the steps, turning it over, and then the 4th step, the resentments. Actually, before I came here, I did another thorough 4th and 5th step with somebody. And a couple weeks ago, I did a 12-step workshop with, with the group at the Alana Club. There's another one coming up in March. I highly recommend it. It's an amazing experience. My sponsor was 13 days sober, and she heard my fourth and fifth step. It was amazing, and I got to make an amends. And I did this process a couple months ago in March, and when we did this eighth step, I had this thing that living amends was good enough. I changed my behavior. I'm not no longer beating my kids or calling them names that they're not. And you know what? When I got the phone call, my oldest daughter, Katrina, when I got a phone call on June 23rd in 2022, that she died. Drinking and driving. She got drunk on whiskey after being sober. She had 7 years, and then she relapsed, and then she had 5 years, and then she stopped talking to me 2 years before she died, and then she died. She drank whiskey, got in a car accident, hit a pole, a car blew up, and she died a week before her 35th birthday. And I got that phone call at 1:04 in the morning. And I'm really, really grateful for the connection and relationship that I have with God, because I probably would have ended up in a mental institution if I did not have that connection with God. God is everything for me, because no human power, no human power can help me. I mean, you can help me. You're sweet, But in the middle of the night, when it's just me and God, I tap in. And sometimes I'm in fetal position, And 14 years ago, after my mother died, before my father died, a year and a half after my mother, my only son got schizophrenia, and he was, from drugs. And he's in an institution, and he's now 33. He's going to be 34 on Wednesday, and he's institutionalized, and I'm his conservator. And so I get to show up, and sometimes I take him out, sometimes I go visit him, and I live on my knees. I can't change any of it, you know what I mean? And so, I have a conscious contact with God, and I'm going to go back to the amends because it's really important. When in March, I got to write a letter to my daughter, Katrina, because her last text to me was in caps, "Get honest. Get honest." And so I never made amends to Katrina. Katrina was 11 years old when I got sober. I was 18 when I had her, and I was an abusive mother. And I was such a broken person, and that's not an excuse, but it is what it is. And it's just like this systemic, generational, trauma that's been passed down, and so I stay sober, and I say to all my relations, to all my ancestors, and I just feel them pushing me forward, and they're like an army behind me, like, you can do it. You can do it. And so I stay in the middle of Alcoholics Anonymous, not to win friends or influence people, because I don't want to die. I want to die sober. I do want to die, but I want to die sober, and I don't want to kill myself today, but I have to say, since my daughter's died, my mind has been a battlefield. So I've been I was sharing, we had dinner before the meeting, I was sharing with Mimi, I've gotten to this place from doing all the inventory and steps and the sharing with sponsors and doing work with other sponsees, that I've gotten to the point now when I wake up in the middle of the night and my mind starts talking and building cases and spinning plates and catastrophizing and future tripping and all of that. I kind of like, I watch all those thoughts going, oh, wow, yeah, that's what the mind does. And I observe it with the calm and quiet mind. And I ask God to be with me and to protect me from my mind. And it works. And I read that letter to Katrina at the beach that I wrote to her in the details of what I did to her and how it impacted her. And she had something, what I believe was something called mother hunger. It's an outside issue, but I had it. She had no chance. And so I read that letter to her, and the next week I got her a bank statement. 3 years after she dies, I get this. And I took her death certificate, birth certificate, and that bank statement. I closed her bank account, and I gave her sisters money, and we were all just like blown a week after I did the amends. So that's my amends story, and I think, was that my time? And thank you for asking me, and everybody have a good night.
That was great.
Latanya, alcoholic, now our main speaker, will share her experience, strength, and hope with us. Please join me in welcoming Janice from San Pedro.
Come here and hug me, girl. Come here and hug me.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Janice Ospitz, and I'm an alcoholic. Well, hello. Tonight is where the party is at. I feel it. Trust me, I feel it. Let me first thank Keith for the honor and privilege of being here tonight, your kindness, your love, and our friendship. And Janice, too, who sent me information. Marianne is the secretary, so I want to thank you so much. And thank you for the big warm welcome. You know, you're my people, you're my tribe. So, hey, you're my peeps. You know, I want to welcome Andy. Welcome, Andy. All right. I want to welcome David in the back, right? Is that David? David, right? Jim. Jim. Hi, Jim. And then there's Alex. Sorry, Jim. Okay, and then I want to thank Art for reading chapter 5. Thank you, Art. And Graham Cracker for reading the 12 traditions. And look, I said, hi, Graham. He goes, like, Cracker. So there you go, Cracker. And Latanya for being an awesome leader. And then let's all give a round for Mary. Mary, awesome. When Mary and I know each other, and when I walked in and Keith goes, Mary, I go, I don't even have to talk. So there it is. I love you, and you're such an amazing example. Okay, so my name is Janice, and I'm an alcoholic, and did anybody else tear up the South Bay? Well, this is my hood, so we'll get to that. And Tim, my timer. Tim is my cat whisperer, dog whisperer. I walk in, and Tim is like my husband and I's. We only trust him with our babies. So perfect timer back there, brother. You guys are my new friends. If I don't know you, you're my brothers and my sisters. And I saw some peeps that I do know, you know, and it's like, truly, I love Alcoholics Anonymous. I absolutely love it. So let's get into and hi, Zoomers. I love Zoom, too, so hi. All right, my sobriety date is May 11th, 1997. I'll do the math for you. I turned 28 in May. I have a sponsor. Her name is Pat Yo. You might know her. She just turned 50 years sober. And my home group is the Pacific Group, that place down in West LA. Anybody been there or heard about it? Yeah. All right. So that's my home group. But I am from Torrance, California. I'm the middle misfit of 3 kids, and I did tear up Torrance. Did anybody else? Yeah, hi. It's like you go to a South Bay meeting and go, did we sleep together? I just want to make sure, you know what I mean? Oh, goodness. Okay, well, so I was raised in Torrance, mom, dad, brother, sister. And, you know, from a very young age, man, I just felt weird, and I'll explain why. First, let me paint the picture. My mom, up until she was 90 years old, she would put a full face on and a full lip, you know, and I go, Mom, what are you doing? She goes, well, you never know. So I was raised in a home that we must look good. You gotta look good. But now Mom and Dad don't get along. They fight like cats and dogs. You know, there's some knives being thrown around, and there's some pots and pans, and they just were not, they're great parents, but they weren't a great couple, right? They did everything for us, but they couldn't stand each other. And so my mom would say, you know, you're gonna go out in the world and everything is white picket fence, we've got a dog, everything looks good. So from a very early age, I was out in the world saying, I'm fine. I haven't said I'm fine since I got sober, because that means something else. You guys know the word. And, I mean, I'd get out of jail, and I have, 2 DUIs, and I have a hit and run, and my lawyer goes, how are you? And I go, I'm fine. So I hate that word, by the way. So I'm good, or I'm great or I'm okay, but fine, because fine was everything for us. I was a chunky kid. I ate sugar alcoholically. That was kind of my first chemical from the neck up. Anybody relate to that? Like, like there's a cake in the house and I've taken all the frosting off and there's some on my face and and my mom's like, did you eat all the frosting? I'm a liar. No, my brother did, but it's on my face. So, I really do believe that I was born an alcoholic because I had all the isms well before I picked up a drink. Well before. I cared so very deeply what you thought of me in kindergarten. My mom cut my hair. It looked like ooh, ooh, ooh. And they called me James. And oh, you would have thought that was the end of the world, right? And so then I'm a chunky kid, and I'm eating sugar alcoholically. My parents drink. They drink. They seem to get along a little bit better when they drink. It was very attractive to me. I can still remember them coming home and pouring and going clickety-clickety ice, and it would pour, and it was like, oh, it was so sexy to me. And my dad smoked, and I thought, oh, I can't wait to grow up and be glamorous and drink. Okay, so then I'm a very high-energy person. I always have been. I know. Yeah, I know. I am. This is natural. So at the age of 9, my mom gave me some Dexedrine. Because that's speed, and for my diet. Because my mom worked for doctors, and we had a bunch of Dexedrine. And I'll tell you, I like the effect produced by that, right? I helped Mom clean the house, and I would help her. My mom was like, my mom was all about diet pills and drinking, and she was not alcoholic, but she had all the isms, right? So I was doing that, and then, and it's good to see you, Logie. Logie, we're like brothers and sisters. So I'm a people pleaser. I'm out in the world, and it's like, I feel uncomfortable in my skin, and they're calling me names. I developed at a very young age, and they're calling me things like big one and big ones and big boobs and biggies and all that. It's like I started getting attention in that kind of a way. So I'm walking around, but I remember my first sippy sips of alcohol. Cold Duck, Spumante, my dad's Coors beer, Olympia beer, wine in a box, slow gin fizzes, these, and Bartles and James. You guys remember those? Yeah? Yeah, but you know what really I liked so much was Boone's Farm Tickle Pink. It did definitely tickle me pink. And I wasn't like drinking every day at the age of 10, 11, and 12, but I remember my first brownout, I was about 14. Now, here's my family. We are the party house. We live in Torrance, California. We are on Lee Street in Torrance, California, and we became the party house. And let me just kind of paint the picture of my mom. Everybody loved my mom. She was super funny, she was super witty, and when she drank, everybody loved her, right? So all the kids would want to come over and see my mom. And then, my mom would let us drink, and she'd take them home. So my first brownout was in front of my house, 5024 Lee Street, and I'll tell you, if my skirt was over my head, it will get no better than that. When I drink, I said glamorous and ladylike, I am a pig. I am an absolute pig when I drink. Okay, now I care about what you think of me. I really, really care about what you think of me. Oh my God, does my butt look big? Oh my God, like you're talking to me, and I'm already, the committee was going very early. Like in kindergarten, I remember you're talking to me, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to say? Am I going to sound smart enough? What do you think? Do you like me? What do I have anything in my teeth? Is it my nose? Is my butt too big? You're talking to me, and I'm already thinking about what I'm going to talk to you. That's my committee, and that was happening well before I picked up a drink. So then I pick up a drink, and I'm like, whoo, I'm all that in a bag of chips. You're lucky to be with me. And that is what alcohol does for me. That is what it did for me. You guys too? Yeah. All of a sudden, I feel like I fit. My skin fits. Oh. And I didn't like turn blonde and long-haired and blue-eyed or anything like that, but I just felt like I fit. And I wasn't drinking every day at the age of 15 and 16 in high school. I went to Jefferson, and then I went to West High, and, but, here's kind of me. I'm the kind of girl, like I was looking at these music notes, and I remember I would be in guitar classes and I'd quit. And then I'd be in piano classes and then I quit. Like, I'm a really good starter. I do everything really good because I need to control it all and I need to be an A everything. But if I'm not perfect at it, I quit. And I remember those music notes, man. Oh my goodness. So, all right, I'm in high school, but now I'm drinking, and, I was also the kind of kid that got along with everybody. I just did. I'm a people pleaser, remember. I'm not anymore, really. If you don't like me, it's okay. But back in the day, boy, I worked hard at making everybody like me. I want the stoners to like me. I want the rah-rahs to like me. I want the jocks to like me. I want everybody. And that's hard work. It's exhausting, right? But when I drink, I really don't care. I really don't care, because you're really lucky to be with me now. And, here's what happens for me. I graduated high school. I remember in high school. See, it just never gets any better than this. I blacked out at a party. I gave some girl's boyfriend a hickey. I don't even remember it. The next day I went to school, and she remembered, right? So everybody remembers everything I do, but I'm starting to black out at the age of 16. Okay, so I graduate high school, and I go to El Camino, but, before that, I started getting into the Rain Tree. Did anybody go to the Rain Tree? Oh my God, hello! Did we sleep together? I'm telling you, I've been trying to find amends everywhere I go. Sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody. It's just really my honest truth. And I was 19, I'm getting in the Rain Tree because they let everybody in. And then I started doing things that allowed me to drink more, right? Right. And I need a lot of attention. I'm so empty inside, and I have that big, big, big empty feeling. So, men, alcohol, other things that allow me to drink more, food, I just need it all. I don't want to feel the way I feel. And when I drink and I get there, ooh. And so, I start getting in, going to the Rain Tree. And then, oh man, you guys, don't you remember Beach Bum Bert's and the Red Onion and Pancho and Wong's and Don Jose's and Annabelle's, Cristobal's, and I hit them all. And I don't think I got far enough to Manhattan. I don't think I did. Did I? Orville and Wilbur's, maybe? Orville and Wilbur's, yeah. Ponchos, Pancho and Wong's, the Blue Moon Saloon. Man, those were all great places. Anybody drink in those places? Oh, yes, the Red Onion. Oh, my goodness, that was the best. And then there was, Ruby something or others, and Tony's on the Pier, and, but, I'm at the Rain Tree, and I lived in Torrance, and I always get caught about a block away from my house because I'm a drunk driver, I'm a drunk walker, I'm a drunk bus rider, I'm a drunk walker in public. I've been to jail in quite a few areas in the South Bay. I have a PhD in DUI class. Thank you very much for your what you have. That's right. But my first one, I'll just explain it a little bit. So this is how I drink, and this is how I drink, and it never gets any better, and it gets actually worse than this. So, Rain Tree. I'm 21 years old. I have 10 Long Island iced teas at least. At least. Oh, come on, you guys. Those go down so easy, right? Right? They taste like iced tea. And we were doing shots of kamikazes, and back in the day we were doing orgasms. You guys remember those drinks? Right? So I have multiple orgasms. I go to jail. So I get pulled over. I'm in my little VW. It's a white little VW. I get pulled over, and I fall out of the car, and there's a male officer and a female officer, and this is how I act. I fall out, and there's a female officer, and I proceed to tell her that I know she is a lesbian and she's going to rape me, and she hogtied me. And then I offer the male officer a personal breathalyzer in the back of the car. We will call it a day. And that's my first God shot to Alcoholics Anonymous. And I'm 21 years old. And I will never forget how that felt to be hogtied in back of a cop car. I still have, now remember, I know how to look the part, right? I was taught that very early. You must look the part, no matter how you feel. You got to look good. And that's not a bad thing. Thank God for Mom. But But I still had it all going, so I didn't like really understand that like this. I'm too young. I can't be an alcoholic. No, no, no. So I remember my first AA meeting, and I remember that DUI class, and I remember exactly what they said. You know, and they said, you know, you had a BAC of 0.30. That's not normal. I'm like, I can drink a lot. You know, that was you guys. You know, you were proud of it. I was proud of it. But I had no business driving, right? I had no business driving. Okay. And so they said, well, you know, if you don't pay attention, you'll probably be back. And I'm like, yeah. So my first AA meeting, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was looking at the differences rather than the similarities. And I did my DUI classes. And, you know, I'm 21, for goodness sakes. I cannot be an alcoholic. An alcoholic is a, you know, and I had all that stereotype of alcoholism. I did. I always did. But I have alcoholism in my family. It goes way back, way back. And so, anyways, but it set off. Now it sort of planted the seed of my drinking. Now I'm drinking, but now I'm drinking more. I remember my first Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. I was salivating. You guys were talking about alcohol, and I needed to go get a drink. So, you know, life goes on, and I'm in my 20s. My 20s are pretty much a blackout, most of them, because I got sober at 35. But, you know, I got another drunk driving at 24. And I have to tell you, I'm so grateful. I never hurt anyone in my drunk drivings. I never hurt anyone, but I hurt everyone. Does that make sense? I hurt everyone, and especially my family. And you know, life is going on. And here's the things that are happening now. I'm blacking out all the time. You know, I'm at weddings. All my friends are getting married. Weddings are really hard for me. I seem to not find a husband. I don't know why, you know, because I'm drinking alcoholically, you know, and I'm so unacceptable in events. I stopped being asked to go to events, to people that I grew up with or people that my peers, you know. I break dance in weddings in a short dress with no panties, and I think, and by the way, I'm a gymnast, and you need to see that I can do the splits, you know. And I like to sing, so I go up and take the mic from the band, and you know, things that are so inappropriate. And here's the thing, I don't remember, so they don't count. But everybody else does, LaTanya, they know. So I get a second drunk driving, and this time it's at Chasers. Remember the Chasers Lounge? Anybody remember the Chasers? So I was drinking at the nice places, and I started going to the dive places because the nice places didn't really want me around. So I get another drunk driving, and this time it's like I hit 5 parked cars on a little side street, and then I totaled my car, and one more time it's a .29, and I have and all the neighbors come out, and all the damage I was doing to so many people. I was doing that. You know, and at this time in my life, I was a secretary by trade, and then I was cocktailing and bartending at Cristobal's at the Marriott hotels. You remember that place when they opened it? Did anybody go there? I might have served you, and then I would fall over you because I was drinking on the job. But I got that second DUI, and that's like a lot more AA. These are all God shots for me. Another AA, a bunch of AA meetings and a bunch of classes, right? So my lawyer made it very clear to me that you probably need to go into a program. I'm seeing a therapist, by the way. I have a lot of problems, and I'm lying to her too. I'm a liar, cheat, and thief. I steal your money and help you look for it. And I wasn't raised that way. You know, I was raised with really good morals and a really beautiful family. Alcohol takes a little bit away each and every time. And it takes a little layer of the good that we all have in ourselves. You know what I mean? And so this is what happens for me. I go to my first rehab, and I have to just say, I'm so grateful from the moment I walked into AA. The language of the heart was there. I just wasn't ready. But I went to Del Amo Hospital. Anybody go to Del Amo Hospital? Oh, you guys, by the way, you put on a spread. Thank you for putting on this amazing meeting and all that you do of your love and service, and everybody who has commitments here. Thank you. As I was looking at Steve, and he's given back. You go 23 months. Oh, and by the way, happy birthday, 24, John, right? Joe. All right, happy birthday. Okay, so I'm in Delama Hospital, and I was in there for 100. I was in there for 44 days. Okay, the bottom line of it is when I'm in structure, I do really well. I didn't realize how unstructured I was, right? And so but I also am a people pleaser, so I want to be the best. I want to be the best. I want to be like the favorite. I want you to like me. I really want you to like me. And it's like, I wasn't raised not to be honest. I was raised to be rigorously honest. And when I drink, I'm really honest. I tell you everything. And I really tell you exactly what I think, but very inappropriately, right? So now I'm in this hospital program, and it's just one expensive little program for Alcoholics Anonymous, right? But I was so grateful. I was so grateful that I had been in AA visiting on my DUIs. I was literally visiting. I'm the girl that sits in the back that gets her court card signed, leaves before I can't leave before the prayer. Back in those days you could. And I love signing court cards now. I mean, I love it. But I had a lot of court cards signed, because I had, those DUIs and a lot of AA meetings. And so the bottom line of that sobriety, because it's not this sobriety, it was 1987, and I was 26 and a half years old. And I stayed sober for 3.5 years, and I really like to talk about this because it's another God shot for me. I was dry almost the whole time, dry briety. I'm not working any steps, and I'm not really following any traditions, but I'm sober, don't you know? And I'm quoting the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous because I have knowledge. I know how to talk about what the program is, but I'm not living it, right? And first I was doing it in the program, and then I got out, and then I'm a workaholic, so I got a great job. I'm working at Rockwell International, and I'm carrying around a big book. And I'm sober. But I haven't cleaned up the wreckage of my past. I had a sponsor by name only, if anybody's ever done that, and I started going to meetings, and then all of a sudden, those meetings got in the way. The meetings got in the way. I'm very too busy. I'm too busy. I have a big job, and I have a car I've got to pay for, and yet I'm sober. So irritable, restless, and discontent, lying by omission, and the mental illness comes forefront. Woo! Whack-a-doodle. So I'm so grateful for that experience. Of course I drank. But I'm so grateful because if you spot it, you got it. I can see it when people are really, when our brothers and sisters are hurting because they're not in meetings and they're not working steps and it's not a judgment thing, it's an identification thing, right? And so, so I'm a people pleaser though, so don't you know, I'm living a double life. And now, by the way, I'm at Rockwell, and my boss is this bigwig, and he's got a wife and a girlfriend and me. And so we start traveling, but I'm sober, don't you know? Sober. I am sober. And, but I'm not living emotional sobriety, and I'm not living as an example to our beautiful fellowship. And so now, I'm lying, and then, he's having me, but then I also have an affair over here, too, and then I got one over here. It's very hard to track all this, but you're sober, so you kind of remember. And then I broke my probation because I have those DUIs, and I'm on probation. And, oh, shoot, I forgot to show up in court, and I have a warrant out for my arrest, and they come and they handcuff me and take me to jail. Sober. Redondo Beach. Been in jail Torrance, Redondo, Long Beach, Seal Beach, El Segundo. Yeah, I did a hit and run in El Segundo. Went to that one too. So here's what happens for me. Yeah. No, but I hit a car and ran home. They found me, and I totaled my car, and the other car was fine. So, yeah. But I'll get to that in just 1 minute, because here's how it goes. So that 3.5 years, here's the thing, though. I think you're the smartest, hardest working people that I know. We're gonna, if you need a commitment done, we can do it. If you need a job done, we can do it. that's how I work. And here's the thing. I lost my way, and I'm at a wedding, of course. 3.5 years, just like it says in the book. You know what? There's a little bit of milk, but maybe put a shot. I had a little Grand Marnier. I thought that I could just, drink like a lady. Drink like a lady, I'm a pig. So I drank like that Grand Marnier, and about 2 weeks later, I get a hit and run, and I'm in El Segundo now, and I'm 31 years old, I think. So 3.5 years dry, pick up, and it took me till 1997 to get back. And what happened in between that, and I have a few minutes left, and here's how it goes for me. Man, I'll tell you, in 1995 to 1997 was my last drink. I passed out, I blacked out, I drank Papa vodka around the clock, I passed out, I was with people that I shouldn't be with, and doing things that I shouldn't be doing, and waking up to people doing things to me. Lived in a blackout. 1995 also, I'd worked for Rockwell International, and it was a great job, and I was like the employee of the year when I was sober, and then I was the employee the ombudsman was writing about. And that's really bad in government. Really bad. It's like the government writing about you. And it took them 7.5 years, or it took them 3.5 years to get rid of me. So 1995, I lost my job at Rockwell, and my father was diagnosed with a horrific cancer, and I lost the place I lived. And by this time, honestly, my whole family, my dad is so sick that did not even get me sober. He said, my cancer's not killing me, but you are. That did not get me sober. You don't have to tell me this is cunning, baffling, and powerful. Did not get me sober. So I lived like an animal for 2 more years, and I moved probably 25 times, because when you get to know me, I got to go, right? So my bottom was from 1995 to 1997, and I'll never forget it. And I tried to get sober, had 9 months here, 6 months there, went into another program, went into another program, went into another program. And AA has always been there. And it just doesn't matter when you're ready, and if you're lucky enough to get here, man, the hand is always there. We're always here, Alex. We're here for you. We're here for you, Jim. We're here for you, Andy. And anybody else who didn't raise their hands. So I got into the House of Hope in San Pedro for women. Now, that was not my childhood dream, I will tell you that. And this is like my 6th or 7th place trying to get sober, but I'm so grateful that it wasn't easy, and that I found a surrender there. And by this time, my brother calls me names I don't say from the podium, and I would answer to them. My brother hated my guts. My sister, my younger baby sister, she tried to help me. I can't tell you how many times she would come to my apartment, and the windows are open, and I am naked, and I am bruised from head to toe, and my house looks like a tornado hit it, because I am the tornado. And, nobody wanted to talk to me. My mother's taking care of my very ill father, and there's me. So when I got into the House of Hope, everybody at least knew where I was. And they were really glad. And so here's how it goes. May 11th, 1997, and in order to be there, you have to have a sponsor. And this is where my journey begins. So I've had sponsors before, but I didn't utilize them. I worked some steps. You know that 4th step? I said who I was pissed off at, and what they did, and I just stayed there. I worked them the way I thought they needed to be worked, right? And 4 and 5 is a little invasive, so you guys really, but I just said I was sorry to everybody. So, isn't that an amends? Okay, so it's twisted on all of that. So here's how it goes for me. My first sponsor, I've had amazing sponsorship my entire sobriety. My sponsors are Molly, Susie Sieverts, Claire Ellinger, Debbie McGinnis, and Pat Yo. And each and every one of them are in my heart, and and Karen Sandifer. And I say those names because they are right here with me. And Pat is my current sponsor. Molly picked me up in San Pedro at the House of Hope and took me to this place called the Pacific Group. And she said, you're not in a relationship, no surprise, and you will not be in one for your first year. And I'm like, okay. So there's a Beacon House around the corner, right? The boys. So this is another God shot for me. All of these are God shots for me to help somebody else, right? And so I had an amazing experience that, in retrospect, it wasn't amazing at the time, but here's how it goes. I got to be with my family because I'm sober. I'm in the House of Hope. I get to be home with Mom and Dad. My dad is very sick. My dad got to see me sober for 10 months, and I got to be with him. And I can't even begin to tell you how grateful I am for that. I can't even begin to tell you. And here's what happened. So the House of Hope was not easy at that time. And I'm so grateful it wasn't, you know? It's like, and I started listening and paying attention and doing what they told me to do. Remember, I told you I'm good in structure. And then I got over wanting to be the favorite, and I needed to get real. And the girls said, you know, that Pacific Group place would be good for you. And I went, well, what do they mean by that? Why are they saying that to me? Well, you know, most of those girls aren't sober today. You know, and I'm sorry that they're not. And I'm so grateful that I found a structured home group, because this knucklehead needed that. I needed that. So how this goes is my first year of sobriety, you know, I start doing the dance with the devil. I got involved with a Beacon boy, and I studied my growth. I made him my higher power, but I got to be with my mom and dad. Because as long as I'm sober and as long as they know where I am, I could be with my mom and dad. And my dad got to see me sober. And my sponsor fired me because I lied to her. And, you know, and that was a painful experience. And, you know, my first direction to women I sponsor is, guess what? I've had this experience. And we do all say no relationships, but honestly, I almost drank again. So I have that experience, and I'm not, because I know what I did. I made it about the boy. And she goes, I won't talk to you about the boy. So I have hands-on experience about that, and to this day, I love my Molly, you know, and so at 10 months of sobriety, I lost my dad, but before he passed, I promised him, I said, Dad, you know, I have been trying to do this for so many different people, especially you and Mom and everybody, but I got to do it for me, but guess what? You're my backup plan. And I turned myself into that place called the Pacific Group, and I got me a sponsor. And I started doing everything everybody does. The beautiful thing about a home group is that I'd never really had one, right? And I never really, valued it. You guys seem to have an awesome home group, you know? And basically AA everywhere works. But I needed the structure. And so, you know, I remember she said, you know, you will not get it. She did. She goes, you know, we're going to go to the Pacific Group, and they don't want anything you have. And I'm like, you sure? And she was absolutely right. The men stick with the men, and the women stick with the women, and this alcohol needed that, and this is what I started doing. I started working a program that I'd never worked before in my life. I started doing what everybody else does and stopped being special. Don't you know? Don't you know my case? Oh my God, I'm just one of many. I'm just one. I'm just a little piece of the pie. And it really right-sized me. And here's the nuggets, and I have a few minutes. You know, Karen Sandifer was my first sponsor, and she walked me through these steps. And here's the things that to this day still work. You call me every day at the same time. If you're late, I'm not answering. So I learned how to be on time. Are you willing to go to any lengths? And I'm like, yes, but I did. I called her every day at the same time. 10 minutes. Thank you, Timer Tim. And And I'm so grateful for these little nuggets. I was in debt. I owed the IRS a lot of money. And she goes, we're going to get into the book. We're going to get into the steps. But what are the things you're most afraid of? How many bills have you been putting in the drawer, right? And the IRS hadn't paid for 3 years. So we started tackling that first. And I started, I never wanted to answer my phone because it was bill collectors. So I started making those I started getting honest. Being that people pleaser is such a waste of time, and it was like I didn't really want you to know how bad things were. I was so afraid you'd tell me to go away because so many people did. And yet I started getting honest, and I'm so grateful that my sponsorship, they didn't care about my feelings. I needed to hear the real truth. I'm so grateful. Does it hurt once in a while? Yeah, but the truth hurts until I get honest. And so, we worked those beautiful steps, and I will never forget when I read my 5th step to my sponsor. We cried, we laughed. She said, "What are the 3 things you don't want to tell me? Read them first." And, it's like, man, I've had such awesome sponsorship. And my home group, the Pacific group has taught me how to just be part of something that's so much bigger than me. And I can take that everywhere I go. Every AA meeting is, you're my peeps. Everywhere. I learned how to respect this disease in my home group, and not only that, so being of maximum service, like here's the things, get commitments at every meeting. I've had commitments at every meeting. I used to be a taker in AA, walk in, go, thank you very much, see you later, bye. And it's like having a little job, just having a little job gets me to the meetings. And by the way, not only does it get me to the meetings, but it gets me to the meetings early so I can have a meeting before the meeting. So one of my meetings for years is the Wednesday night. Has anybody been to Wednesday night at the synagogue? Yeah. So that meeting starts it used to start at 7:30, now at 8, and it starts at 7:30 now. We used to get there at 5 o'clock. And I'd be in the parking lot, and we're having a meeting before the meeting, we have the meeting, then we go to coffee after. That's where I started meeting my friends. I still have those friends. And it's one alcoholic talking to another, right? And then, by the way, what I love about my home group is, like, some of the things that I've done, I can't even believe I've done. Like, we have plays, and, I didn't know that I like to sing and dance and act, even though I like to break dance. So but I dance sober, right? And because so many childhood dreams sort of fell to the wayside with my alcoholism. And I get to do all that now. I'm singing, dancing, comedy. We're like, oh my God, we do these plays. And I found, and I don't have any fear. Like, the good thing is you don't have to be talented. You just have fun. And I have so much fun. And what it does is it's being of service to the group, and it's being of service to the newcomer, to have them somewhere to come on New Year's Eve. And I've been doing that for years. And it's like everybody's welcome. That's the thing I love about being all-inclusive. Like, I went to weddings that I didn't even know the bride and the groom because everybody was invited. And it just taught me, like, I'm just part of. And, like, I can't tell you how many bridal showers I went to. I'm like, who's the bride? Wait, who's having a baby? But it doesn't matter. Suit up, show up. The most important thing is to suit up and show up. Show up, be of service. So, my sobriety, and I do want to talk about, I loved your amends that you were talking about. And I got married for the first time ever. At the age of 47. And my husband and I were friends first. You guys might know Ned Auspitz. I don't know, but he's my king. I call him Saint Ned. And we have had this life, this precious little sweet, gorgeous, wonderful life, one day at a time, just being of service and sponsoring. He sponsors men and I sponsor women. I love my babies. I love every baby I've ever sponsored. If I don't sponsor them, I still stay in touch. I don't believe in ever throwing people away. I don't believe, because I threw so many things away when I was out there, that I don't throw people away. I don't throw. I'm not Saint Mother of Mary up here. I make mistakes, but I just, the other things I want to talk about a little bit is my family. So I told you about my papa, and I was by no way ready to make amends to him at 10 months of sobriety because I wasn't really working that program yet. But I have been making living amends, and I have done it through step work with sponsors for Dad. And by the way, and I get to be of maximum service to a lot of papas, But my papa, I'm going to get to that in 1 minute. But oh my God, I know my papa sees me and loves me and has been with me the whole time, and he's been helping me so much. And I'll tell you about my sister. So my sister, I'm her older sister, and she didn't have an older sister for a really long time. So my sister lives in Missouri, but she lived in Virginia. So I got sober and I started making all my vacations about going to visit my sister. You know, any vacation was to just go see sis. So suit up, show up, do what we say we're gonna do, act better than I feel till I feel better about the way I act, especially newly and sober, take the actions, the feelings will follow. I learned these things and I heard these things and I went, whoa, that is brilliant. Take the actions, the feelings will follow. Whoa! I used to sit around and go, maybe tomorrow. And, you know, and so the thing is we started building this relationship. And my brother-in-law. So my sister is Julie. My brother-in-law is Mark. My real brother is Mark. And I introduced my sister and brother-in-law at a jobby poo that they took me away to jail. Been making living. He had to fire me. So, yeah, a poor guy. I'm like introduced my sister. And she was like, "Oh, what am I getting myself into?" So, you know, my brother-in-law and my sister, my maximum living amends, my direct living amends, and what happened for my sister and brother-in-law. Is that they could not conceive, so they adopted a child from Russia. And my nephew has fetal alcohol syndrome. So his mama was like me. And that kid relates to Aunt Jan. You know? You know? Crazy a little bit. Fun, loud, all the, and he's 24 now, and he's got a lot of problems. But my brother-in-law and my sister love you. They love Alcoholics Anonymous. They love what you have done to our family. They love it. My sister's my biggest cheerleader. She's like, we have birthdays and she'll go, keep coming back. It's so cute. Like they'll have birthdays and she'll go, keep coming back. And my brother. Okay, so my brother's like, my brother loves me, hates me, loves me, hates me, loves me. He hates me now, but that's okay because I have so many brothers in Alcoholics Anonymous, and we don't always get what we want. We get everything we need. And I love my brother, and I you know, and you know, it's kind of like I made my amends, my living amends, my maximum living amends, and he's still. And so, you know, I pray for him. I do. I just pray for him. And I got to talk about my mom for 3 minutes. So, oh man, my mom. So my mom is a hoot. My mom, man, my mom was the one person in my whole life that I wanted her to tell me I was okay. And it took her a really long time. And that's okay. We had that love, crazy, you know, fight in the front of the house with our pantyhose and our bras. And yet my mom was my rock star. My mom was always the one picking me up in jail. One time she picked me up late and I yelled at her. I was a terrible daughter. I was a great daughter until I was a terrible daughter. And I'll tell you what, Alcoholics Anonymous gave me my mama back because you taught me how to suit up and show up and be there when I say I'm going to be there, act better than I feel till I feel better about the way I act, and be of maximum service. And I did all those things. And she asked my husband and I to move in with her in my childhood home in Torrance. And we took care of her. I've been taking care of her my whole sobriety, but I got to take maximum care of her until she passed away. And I have to tell you, up until she passed away, and she lived until she was 94 years old, and I will tell you, she still wore that makeup to bed every night. And I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? She's like, I never know. And I'm like, I'm going to take that as a good lesson, Mom. But you know, my mama got to see my first breath. I got to see her last breath. My mama changed my diapers. I changed her diapers around the clock. I don't have kids, but I learned how to change diapers with my mom. And my mom wanted me to take care of her. And that is all Alcoholics Anonymous. I am not the favorite kid. I'm by far not. But I'm the one she trusted. And you guys gave that to me. God, Alcoholics Anonymous, steps, traditions, strong sponsorship, and sponsoring others. And I'll just tell you, you know, we sold our childhood home last year, and it was like heartbreaking. You've been through it, you know. It's also really weird not to have a living parent on planet Earth. But I'm so grateful because they're with me, and they're always with me. And both of their urns are at my house. even though they're right here. And I will tell you this, I have a T-shirt of my mom giving the bird, because that was my mom's signature. She would give you the bird, and that meant I love you. She didn't say I love you, she said ditto. And Alcoholics Anonymous, because you taught me how to say I love you first, my mom said I love you. And I'll never forget that. I almost fell over, but I will tell you, that is with me always. And I have a T-shirt in my car that it's my mom giving the bird on her 90th birthday, and she's in the car with me, and she's my girl. And if I have bad traffic, Mom's got you. And it's very soothing for me. I miss her every day, but I know that she's dancing up with all of her animals, Tim. That's what she's doing, and all her people. Anyways, I just want to say I gotta shut up. 8:55. Be quiet. I love you. Thank you for having me. I love you all. Have a great night.